Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zak's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 3rd of September. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which I suppose had a mini rug pull below 9180, which is what we feared, but has bounced and has bounced above the 50-day moving average 9049 and also above the August support. So a couple of ticks there. The other thing to notice is that the RSI did go below neutral 50, but we had that back in June and then we went to new highs. So perhaps this is a one of those situations where the market doesn't fall enough for the bears, but falls too much for the bulls, that kind of thing. So the most amount of people lose money on the move. But we're within that rising trend channel from June for the channel there towards 9100 and above that, looking for 9400 plus. Hopefully by the end of next month, ideally by the end of this month. If you're looking for a trigger here, probably it would be an end of day close above 9200 and or the RSI getting back above neutral 50, which is trying to do as I speak. Moving on to the DAX, and here was also a bit of a pullback as well, but the market trying to bounce basically above the old August support there, so 23,400, which so far we've done. Means that we might have to widen that channel. Not really much use actually having that triangle there because it could be anywhere. But at the moment, at least using that August level as the pivot, and we've also got the problem that the RSI fallen below 50, but not really pushing any further down either. So it just looks like a bit of a rug pull within a bull run rather than anything else, rather than a serious top. But obviously, famous last words. Still a long way above the 200-day line, 22,400. But at the moment, the neckline here really 23,400, the August support. On the upside, initial target 24,800 and the 50-day line. Moving on to the Dow, and here the Labor Day holiday rather queered the pitch, but sort of did what we thought it might do, which was test for support at the 45,000 level, the key level, and then bounce back up again. We're still well above RSI 50 at 57, which is a good spot for further gains. And looking for this market to get up to 47,500 as soon as the end of next month. Ideally, we manage to get there by the end of this month. And also, any downside will be limited by the 50-day line there, 44,400. Moving on to the cryptos, and starting off with the situation at Bitcoin. And here we're looking for, we've been hoping for support to come in at the floor of the channel there, which was around 107. It's actually a little bit better than that in the sense that we've broken that resistance line there from last month. That's through 110 and above 110, which we are at the moment, looking for the 50-day line there, 115, hopefully in the next week or so. If we do break down, hopefully that July support there, 105, is the limit on the downside. You can see we've got this rather complex RSI situation where we're bouncing in the upper 30s, which doesn't normally happen, but that is where we are. Best case here, of course, is that we head to the top of the rising trend channel 130 by the end of next month or even sooner, with all those Bitcoin treasury companies buying loads and loads of Bitcoin to help the market higher. Onto Ethereum, which obviously is supposed to be the new Bitcoin here, but dull today. We are at the floor of that rising trend channel there. I suppose that's the equivalent of 107 on Bitcoin, so around 4,300. We'd like to stay above 4,300 in order to get or have a chance of hitting 5,500 by the end of next month. Once again, ideally, that would be by the end of this month. Worst case at the moment is a test of the 50-day line there, 4074, and the old resistance there from July in the 4,000 area. Obviously, we had the old peaks there from December towards 4,100. So ideally, the 50-day line is the support for this market. Moving on to gold, and here people getting very excited, and so they should be in the sense that we've managed to break the logjam of a 5 month consolidation. 3410 was the level broken, and looking for 3800 by the end of next month, ideally by the end of this month, which could happen, I suppose. The on the downside, the channel floor there, 3350, and that should limit any downside for this market. But ideally now, we stay on the right side of 3,500 the old April peak ahead of a move to 3,800. Want to look at pound dollar, where, according to my calculations, if this was a situation where Liz Truss was in power, we'd see this at towards the $1.10 level. But because obviously we've got a wonderful government at the moment, it's not that. A bit of sort of failure here towards the 136 level. Could still be in a rising mode and push towards 140, but just one of those things that, given the fundamentals, alleged fundamentals here, how can this market be this high in the range towards the top of the range, which has been in place basically over the last 10 years, 8 to 10 years, towards 140. Quite a surprise, really, that that is the situation. But obviously, you can't buck the market. So there is an indicator at all. It would be that we remain below that RSI resistance line there, around RSI 60. We're already below the neutral 50 level, so possibility of a breakdown, even if it's heading towards the 200-day moving average at $1.3050. Moving on to the stocks, and the stock which there's been so many false dawns, it's become almost like a sort of a nasty habit looking at this stock and trying to find the lows. Maybe a 50th time lucky here for Arc Minerals, where we'll have a sustained move to the upside. Here you can see that we're just trading either side of the old November floor there, around a penny. If we can stay above a penny, and we can stay above that uptrend line in the RSI window, then maybe there's a chance of a move to a penny and a quarter. But obviously, this has been a bit of a problem child over recent months and years. Slightly better situation, perhaps, is James Cropper, and here you can see that we've broken that falling trend channel. That's there at £2.80. Above that, on an end of day close basis, looking for £4, which seems rather ambitious by the end of next month, but it could be not quite so ambitious given the way that we've gapped up today. And we also have the 50 and 200-day lines both rising in parallel now, which tends to be a decent leading indicator on the upside. On to Cora, where there was a decent update to date, I think upgrading itself and everything else. So we've got a mid-move consolidation breakout, a bull flag breakout there, above the old 9p peak from May, above 9, looking for up to 12 and three quarters by the end of this month. On to one of the better stocks that nobody's ever heard of, which is Ecora. I think two RNSs in consecutive days. Unfilled gap to the upside yesterday, and we held the gap and have broken and remained above 77p above that. Looking for up to 90p by the end of this month, hoping that one or two people might discover this situation and how good it looks at the moment. 3 RSI rebounds above neutral 50s. That is a pretty good leading indicator on the upside, as is the way that we've got the 50 and 200-day lines rising, and recent support has been above the rising 50-day line. Onto a stock which probably most people have heard of, which is Empire Metals. Stunning rally here, and shares above 60p, looking for 75p by the end of this month. The way things are going, might be a bit sooner than that, maybe even by the end of this week, actually, the way things are going. But above 60, 75 on EEE. On to Galileo, where we're kind of hoping that the nascent bull run in small cap resources stocks will filter through here. We are trying to break that the top of that falling trend channel there at £1. Well, not £1, 1.1 pence. Above that, looking for up to 1.5 pence by the end of next month, at the top of that broadening triangle from the autumn of 2023. The other point to note is the way that we have had an unfilled gap to the upside of the lows. It was a bear trap gap reversal. And just the hint there that both the 50 and 200-day lines, or especially the 200-day line, are rising together to deliver a golden cross over the near term, which obviously the run-up to which it tends to be the strongest part in the cycle. On to one of the bulletin board heroes, better heroes of the recent past, which is ImmuPharma. Here we are trading either side of the 4.6 pence target previously suggested, and the initial target was the 200-day line at 2.6 pence. What we have here now is the 50 and 200-day lines both rising. We've held the gap higher that we had to start the week and we are looking for an end of day close. Basically, through the 4.4 pence level to give us an 8 pence target. Hopefully, as soon as the end of this month, but maybe allow for the end of next month. Ideally, we stay on the right side of recent broken resistance around the basically 4.25. So above 4.25. Looking for a break of 4.75 to take us up to 8 pence. Let's get that right. On to Jangada, which had an optimistic sounding RNS today. Here we were drilling for gold, and the shares pushing through recent resistance around the 0.7 pence level. Above that, on an end of day close basis, looking for up to 1.25 pence by the end of this month. A bit optimistic sounding that, but hopefully Jangada will make the right noises. On to a company and a stock which I hadn't heard of until the RNS came out, which is called MedPal, obviously AI. And here you can see that the stock market's equivalent of the Oasis brothers, the Gallagher brothers, are in charge here. They are the Drummond brothers, obviously even better than the Gallagher brothers. Here you can see we're at a rising trend channel. Floor of the channel there around 8.75 pence. Above that, looking for 16 pence, perhaps as soon as the end of next month. Interesting here, I think the market cap already pretty chunky towards 38 million, so that could be a decent company uh, somewhere down the line, maybe by the end of this year. But the key here, if nothing else happens, is to stay above the 50 and 200-day moving average area at 6.5. You can see those decent candles there, only one negative candle there since the company came to market. On to a stock which I'm very happy that somebody suggested as a requested situation, which is Metir. Rather surprising, the shares are inching up, or rather pleasant that the shares are inching up towards the target that I had there, the initial one there, 1.5 pence. If you're a fan of the shares and looking for greater glories than just 1.5 pence, then it would be the upper parallel of that rising trend channel that I've drawn, and that would be heading to as high as 2.5 pence by the end of next month. Ideally, we stay above the recent broken resistance there at 1.1 pence, which hopefully will happen on the basis that we've got those multiple RSI 50 rebounds. I don't think I've seen so many. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 7 there in the recent past. So hopefully that RSI will act as, or is acting as, a decent leading indicator on the upside. On to Pensana, which has transformed itself in recent months, and here you can see why. Bull flag breakout, it looks like it's happening at the moment as well. The previous target there around £1.10. Above that, we're looking for £1.60 by the end of next month. Absolutely astonishing move to the upside. Moving on to strategic minerals, which has a decent setup at the moment in the sense that we're within a rising trend channel. The rising trend channel has been in place for the best part of 2 years. Top of the channel there, 0.5 pence, and we're looking for that perhaps as soon as the end of next month, while we remain above the rising 50 and 200-day lines near the 0.3 level. So above 0.3, looking for 0.5 on strategic minerals. Finishing off with ValiRx, and here looking quite encouraging, actually. The RNS rather was encouraging earlier in the week, and we found support above the 200-day line there at 0.68 for the first time in months, or perhaps even years, actually, on this particular situation. Yeah, since the end of 2023, and looking for the shares to hit 1.1 pence, hopefully by the end of next month. Good news permitting. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.